Okay, so I wanted to do push our character a little farther so we can move along. One of the things I'm going to add, like we have world here for under music. I'm going to turn that into world map because I want these to be easily remembered. And I'm going to put another one here. I'm going to call this one world map. I'm going to use that same name. And the world map, if you remember, oh, there we go, just randomly clicking on things. A world map is scene 1, right? So that's why I put the 1 here. So now we have this. And that's going to be important for the next step. Like I said, like you don't have to change the name to world map. I want to do it so that it's in my head. If we're going to the world map, the music's called world map, the map's called world map, everything's the same. I can just think, oh, world map. Okay. We don't have a character yet, so I'm going to put one here. I'm going to default this as a fighter. And we don't have one yet. That's okay. So we need in our save load. Yes, so in our save load, we haven't done any logic. We just set these up. So we know if we go into our main manager and we hit new game, it fires off to that new, right, from this. Goes into this. So we're going to want numerous variables here. This also happens to be the place I like to keep things like gold. I know it seems like a weird place to keep your gold value, but it's just kind of easy with it being with the save system. So I'm also going to want, because of that, we want our gold. We want this gold text, right? I'm going to drag him into our variables. We'll just call him gold text. All right. So let's deal with that right off the bat. Let's set int value. We're going to set our gold to 0, or if you want to start with whatever gold, that's entirely up to you. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to go with 0. I want to build a string, so I'm going to say gold. Put a couple blanks. I only need 2, and then I'm going to say convert gold. I'll even put a space into it too. Actually, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to use the separator, I think. And we'll call this gold text. Oh. Set gold text. All right, so we have that. Now we're going to want to set text of our gold text to set gold text. Make sure this is at the bottom. Everything has to happen in order. So now that we got that, let's just kind of go into a new state. We don't need to screw around with that. So we need another variable under our prefabs. We need our character. We need that. And I'm also going to have, no. So let's create object. We're going to create our character. And because it's the very first thing, like this is a new game, I'm just going to give it a default parent of slot A. I'm going to store this as data. Main position, I mean, you could put 0, it shouldn't matter. But with that said, I sometimes get some weird UI things. So for me, sometimes it's just easier if, don't need get scale, move this right to the bottom. We take the data and we just, scale is going to go to 1. Well, let's make sure it's there. So sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's just the way I have some UI set up. It's just not quite like that. So the other thing is we want to set FSM String. We actually need a few of those. And all 3 of them can be at the bottom. So under the data, I'm going to grab this guy in just to get our references. He doesn't want to let me do that, so I'm going to stick him here and then I'll do it. There. Now what do you think? Aha! So we need to do a name. I'm just going to use a default name for now. Maybe towards the end of the series, I'll show you how we can, during the menu thing, we can say create a name and have it set into here. So the other thing we're going to want is we want to give it a class, a default class. And again, same thing, we could have this from the menu come over, like a character selection. For now, I'm just going to use a default value. And we want a default weapon. If you want to start with none, that's fine. But if you're going to use none, like you want to go like unarmed, or if unarmed is an option, you're best to create a unarmed weapon, more or less, even if it's just like an empty game object, so you can hold data on it. All right, so we have weapons, don't we? We have a rune axe. I've got a rune axe. Actually, you know what? I might as well put in the cloud sword too, the one I made originally. Not that it really matters. We'll call this rune axe and the cloud sword. And we're going to give them a default value of the weapon, and we'll give them the rune axe. That's the one we made in this tutorial series. What else do we want to do? We want to set FSM int of current experience to 0 is fine. And we also want to set FSM bool. If you remember, with having the logic where it's sitting, we need a way to tell it that, hey, when you open, you need to go be a new character to true. So this is all under the data. All these things are the data. Data. There we go, because it's whatever we're making, we want to do that to it. Okay, so now that's kind of our character. Right, so here we'll even call this gold character. Then we'll do one for world. Alright, so now we can delete that. We don't need it. We want to set event properties. We need 3 of those because we want, what are the name of these properties? Let's go check that out in our player state manager. When we load location, music, world position. So location, music, world position. So the location, and all these are, those ones are string, this one's a vector 3. So we want to load world map. Music is world map. The vector we don't know yet, but I'm going to just give it a variable called the world start position, I guess is what we could call it. We can give it a value later on, and then send event to ourselves to player state, and we'll tell to load that location. The other thing we're going to want to do is activate so we have our menu window. We want to make sure that's closed, and this guy, well, this guy should be closed too. I mean, they should, you know, they should all start open, and then you should close them up at the very beginning. So anyways, let's just take a quick little look, see if that does what we want it to do. So there we go into, I'll take him, hide him. So if we click new game, all right, so we have loaded the world. A little bit of camera stuff there we obviously got to fix up. But if I was to now open up our inventory, I don't know if we built the logic yet to actually do that. Here we have this. Why do we not have? Oh yeah. See, now that's which is kind of one of the things, like this, kind of the same idea as the scale. Is scale wise, it's sometimes you get some weird scales when you create the UI. So usually I set scale and I set position. I didn't set position this time. I guess I should have. But anyways, as you can see, like everything here kind of came in. Right? So we need to obviously adjust the position and fix the health thing, right? Because when we come into here and we do new character, we get, said he got all his proper stats, which is why his health is, you know, some oddball health, because that's the way it's set. At this point in time, we never do set his health prior to updating it. So that's obviously something we need to fix. So let's get into, go back into here real quick, and let's set position. I'm just going to use the 3D one. It really doesn't matter with this. You could actually use either or. Not going to matter. Space self. And yeah, I'll just make those all zeros like that. Done and done. Right? So over in our prefab. All right, so let's go into here. Let's go into, yeah, it does that to me all the time. So when we go new character, like we don't set any of the health, right? So what we're going to want to do is, prior to we getting into here, because we know it's a new character and we've run this template, right? That's cool. Let's just come down here real quick, make a little pit stop before we go into update, and set int value. Our current health is going to be our max health, right? We want full health to start off. That's all. That's really all we got to add there. Done. All right. So now damn it, I forgot to close that window. Like I said, I mean, ultimately in the player player data, we should be setting these windows up properly right in the first place anyways. So we hit new, right? Say we got some camera stuff there. This guy kind of pans over. We can adjust his position and adjust the camera's position, but we open it up and here we have, now we have full health. Right, now here, let's see. So we get all those. Why can I not move? Oh, just dawned on me why it's doing that. Why we don't have UI control. Very, very simple fix, and I mean, I guess it's not a dumb mistake, but it is kind of a dumb mistake. If we go to our world scene, we have forest, we have this. What we don't have in here is something very, very important, and that's an event system. I'm just going to create a canvas real quick. Boop. Now I can destroy the canvas, we don't need it. But this guy right here, we need him. He needs to be in all your scenes. So if you're ever playing around and all of a sudden like you can't drag or you can't click on buttons, you can't do anything UI wise, you check for that. Make sure you have that. Alright, so we go new game. Alright, so we come into here. Why is he... I don't know why he's there. Whatever. But yeah, so we can actually move them around and put them in different slots now. There is one more thing we gotta do, is in here we need to set an int. I forgot to do an int. Set FSM int. I think I have it on default value anyways inside the character, but regardless, we should do it anyways. Is we have the ID. We know we're putting them into slot 1, so let's just say, yeah, you're in slot 1. Get rid of him, we don't need him. We'll save, make sure he's closed. And then we got to look into, I said we have 0 gold, we got to look into, you know, saving the character, obviously, make that save load system. So there's the next part anyways.